What up, Exotic Lifestyles? We back with another video. This one is an informal video. It's about the African president, the youngest to ever be president, Ibrahim Traore. He is the president of Burkina Faso. He is trying to unite all black folks and be self-contained nation in Africa. They are trying to assassinate this man, so we need to get the word out about his efforts in Africa. We need to protect this man and we need to support this man. So I brought this video because my goal is to move to Africa after we get nice and established and get our foot in the game. I'm leaving USA. So I'm bringing Africa content because that's where we free. That is the native land. That is where I plan on living out the rest of my days in Africa. So let's go with this video. That is Abraham. That is the youngest president. If you do not know, look him up. Educate yourself on this guy who is Abraham. That is his name. I'm not going to try to attempt to say some of these African names and words. I apologize. I will have my dialect together by the time I get there. Who is Ibrahim Traore? Let's go.
I'm beginning to see a replica or a replication of the late Thomas Sankara in him, because at that age, Sankara was just within that age bracket, even while he was president in Burkina Faso, that same country.
He is doing good work.
That has propelled him at such a young age to the pinnacle of political power in Burkina Faso, and that would mean that he has a drive. Obviously, he has an ambition.
Ibrahim Traore. He is Africa's youngest head of state at 35 years of age. Ibrahim Traore
that is called rise and grind. He is on his grind and he's working towards black folks uniting.
Of course, Ibrahim Traore had to step in, and he was very decisive in taking over power. In September, he's going to be 1 year in office, and he has promised that in June 2024, he's going to relinquish power to a democratically elected government.
That gives you an idea, first of all, yes, that there is some bit of maybe ambition there, but are these personal ambitions or are they ambitions on behalf of the Burkina Faso? We can only know with time.
Traore and a group of other soldiers ousted his ex-comrade and interim president.
Talking about how they outed the first president who was horrible and he took reign. Let's go.
Paul Henry Damimba, who had appointed him the head of an artillery regiment in the city of Kaya. Damimba himself led a coup against a civilian government of Roch-Marc Christian Kabore 8 months earlier. Both coups were hinged on government failure to tackle armed insurgencies in the country.
The issue of coup can be very, very delicate, and people don't understand how dangerous coups can be. Especially when you are trying to oust a military government and you are part of that military establishment. The death penalty in most cases is death by firing squad. People say he worked closely with Damimba, his former head of state, and so people.
That is our head. That is like our head of state.
Traore was born in the town of Bunduku in western Burkina Faso. He studied geology at the University of Ouagadougou before joining the army in 2010. He graduated as an officer from the Georges Namonau Military School. In 2020, he was elevated to the rank of a captain in the army. This was after he took part in the 2018 UN peacekeeping mission in neighboring Mali. He also fought on the front lines against militants
is a
in the northern
brave
part of the
soul.
country he now leads.
So please support, please inform yourself.
Would hit the limelight. The way he has, it's not just any ordinary person.
Burkina Faso has witnessed political instability and armed insurgencies for years, contributing to the insecurity across the Sahel since 2015. The French army operated in the country since 2018 in attempts to tackle armed groups behind the violence. But in February 2023, the French troops were forced to end operations in Burkina Faso on claims that their military presence had not improved the security situation in the country. Traore's takeover in 2022 came during a time when Russia's influence in French-speaking African countries seemed to be growing. He is among junta leaders in West Africa with strong anti-French sentiments.
Le Burkina Faso est fatigué avec le cas de la France. Alors le Burkina Faso veut rompre toute relation qui existe entre ce pays et la France.
Traore has made it clear that Russia would become Burkina Faso's choice as a new partner in the fight against militant groups.
They've accused France many times. This is the general belief that the French, needed to have some crisis in those areas so that they can deploy their troops. And this was what gave rise to the G5 Sahel, and they were all, French countries. You had Chad, you had Niger, you had Burkina Faso, you had Mali, making up the G5.
Just like President Traore, leaders of Mali, Guinea, and most recently Niger have all come to power through military coups.
This is some things I came across along with my engineer. Appreciate it, Mr. Ike83, for the information and the content.
They are taking over, political power in their countries. I don't know, but they have to try to learn to walk the talk so that they can put certain structures on ground. That even eventually, by the time they leave, the people of those countries can say, well, the military was here, but it was not so bad, even though they eventually left.
And now the military rulers in the Sahel are teaming up. Mali and Burkina Faso are strongly supporting the new junta leadership in Niger with the Solidarity delegation visiting the country.
And you could call them military adventurers because we now have we have no definite knowledge, about what exactly is motivating them. They could be motivated by selfish interests. They could be motivated by genuine patriotic national interest to protect their patrimony, their common patrimony. They could be motivated by the fact that the political class have failed their people over time, consistently, time and time again. So it is a matter of survival. And that's why they have come together. Really,
and he is making sure his country survives.
An attack on one is an attack, on the other.
President Traore says his goal going forward is to bring about change in his country. He recently asked Russia for more support to address security and economic issues in Burkina Faso.
I think that if they are to abide by their promises, yes, there is hope that these guys are able to change the situations in their country.
With the
negotiations with Russia in Africa is what they were discussing.
In West Africa, the new young leaders like Traore believe they have what it takes to move their countries forward, even though they were not democratically elected. But with a fluid economic and security situation, the future remains uncertain.
So if y'all would like to check out more information, check out TRT Africa as it is YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe. This will be my first video on Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore. This is my introduction video. We will be getting in depth with this topic, and it will be continuous content for
never care about who I'm I'm better than who I got more cheddar than. I've been working on myself, I'm just trying to be a better man. From the soul I write these letters and praying that I'm understood. Lord, understand there's a war going on against demons. Right now we undermanned, real is real. All these fake niggas done got the upper hand. Walking around with PTSD got me ready to up and blam. Make them scram, I just trying to make it back home to my fam. I refuse to leave my wife and kids without a fucking plan. So here I go, my only mission is to make this dough. Streaming, merch, and doing shows. OnlyFans got videos for groupie hoes. Make that money, baby, pop that pussy hoe. Bend it over for Black DZ, he said that monkey swole.